driving back out here, there are some pretty deep ruts, and I reckon, yeah, in the rain that would be an interesting drive out, or probably you wouldn't drive out because it is pretty steep. Mind you, big sign on top, obviously, dry weather, four-wheel drive only.
As we leave Little River Campground behind, our journey takes us down McKillops Road, a single-lane trek that winds its way through Snowy River National Park. The road's tight bends and sheer drop-offs exceeding 100 meters demand constant vigilance. Passing oncoming vehicles requires careful negotiation with minimal margin for error. After navigating this dramatic stretch of road, we'll cross the historic McKillops Bridge. Completed in 1936 after a previous bridge was destroyed by floods just before its opening, this engineering marvel spans 255 meters across the Snowy River. Its distinctive construction features exceptionally long timber planks laid over welded steel trusses and concrete piers, making it Victoria's longest bridge of its type. Named after George McKillop, a pioneer who first crossed the area in 1835, the bridge has played a vital role in the region's history as a key passage for livestock between New South Wales and Victoria. In fact, when completed, McKillops Bridge was claimed to be the longest welded steel truss road bridge in the world. The Deddick track entrance lies not far from the bridge, but with extreme heat warnings in effect, we decided to camp by the Snowy River at McKillops Rest area. Having organized this trip on short notice, I hadn't done thorough research, so I deployed Starlink to check conditions. Finding conclusive information proved frustratingly difficult. Further investigation revealed a concerning pattern. Deddick track has been slated for maintenance since 2018, yet actual repairs never seem to materialize. This situation exemplifies a growing problem across Australia's wilderness areas, particularly in the Victorian High Country, where an increasing number of iconic tracks remain closed for years without resolution.
So swim number one today,
Yeah.
McKillops. I always wanted to flow down here the Snowy towards McKillops, so beautiful. Yeah, guys, rest day here at McKillops Bridge. Super hot, heat wave warning, 42 degrees. And we're just sitting here and lying most of the day in the river. We've got here a small little creek. Few good swimming holes here in the shade. And then over there we have the Snowy River.
With temperatures soaring beyond 40 degrees Celsius, we surrendered to the heat and made McKillops Bridge rest area our sanctuary for the day. The hours passed in simple pleasures, alternating between cooling dips in the river, leisurely reading sessions in the shade, unhurried meals, and gentle swaying in the hammock. Sometimes the best adventures are the ones where you simply pause and appreciate your surroundings.
Yeah, swim number 4.
Don't jump, don't try to swim. Tongue-tied and left alone, drowning. Words are too slim.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're on day 4 and facing an unexpected change of plans, or rather improvising one, since nearly every iconic track in this area is closed. McFarlane and Cobra's track, closed. Deddick's track, closed. Davis Plains track, closed. And has been for years in some sections. This pattern of persistent closures raises serious questions about the Victorian government's ambition to establish the Great Forest National Park, which would add 355,000 hectares to the existing protected areas. How can they justify expanding when they're struggling to maintain and provide access to what they already manage? What we're witnessing is deeply concerning, a steady lockup of public land under the guise of maintenance, erosion control, or environmental protection, yet these closed areas rarely reopen. The 2019 to 2020 bushfires alone burned over 1.5 million hectares in Victoria, causing catastrophic environmental damage. By comparison, the impact of responsible four-wheel drivers keeping to established tracks is minuscule. This track closure approach creates a problematic cycle. With fewer accessible areas, visitors concentrate in the remaining open spaces, increasing pressure on those environments. For regions like the High Country, there's also significant economic impact. Our group fueled up in Jindabyne, bought supplies, enjoyed coffees and ice creams. All revenue that these communities depend on. Looking at the bigger picture, these track closures appear to align with Australia's commitment to the 30 by 30 initiative, part of the United Nations Agenda 2030 framework, which aims to place 30% of Australia's land and sea under protection by 2030. While biodiversity conservation is vital, there's legitimate concern about whether this approach balances environmental protection with maintaining public access to these lands. The critical question remains, can we protect these areas while still allowing Australians to responsibly experience them? The evidence suggests that well-managed recreational access creates environmental stewards rather than destroyers. When people experience these magnificent landscapes firsthand, they develop a deeper connection and commitment to preserving them for future generations. This framing acknowledges the conservation goals while emphasizing that protection and responsible access aren't mutually exclusive concepts. Conservation shouldn't mean exclusion of the public from their own land. The current approach doesn't address the real issues. National Parks Victoria needs adequate funding and a more effective model to target those who do the wrong thing. The minority who litter, destroy tracks through irresponsible driving and damage these environments. On-the-spot substantial fines during peak periods would create an immediate deterrent, with word spreading quickly through social media and four-wheel drive communities. Perhaps we need to consider alternatives like the American model for treks such as the Rubicon Trail, establishing permit systems for multi-day adventures on designated routes, or maybe requiring association with accredited four-wheel drive clubs where basic driver training and environmental ethics are taught. What's clear is that the current trend of simply locking down our natural heritage isn't working. These lands belong to all Australians, and the ability to responsibly access them is something worth protecting. What do you think is the solution? I'd genuinely like to hear your thoughts in the comments section below. The change of plan meant retracing our steps via McKillops Road, a journey I never tire of, with its narrow, winding paths and dramatic views of the Snowy River cutting through the valley far below. Beautiful yet demanding, it requires respect from anyone navigating its course. En route, I spotted an intriguing sidetrack extending onto one of Mount Wheeler's lower saddles. Always curious about what lies at the end of unexplored paths, we diverted to investigate. The trek proved rough and moderately challenging, but rewarded our effort with spectacular views across the valley to our previous camping area on the opposite side of the Snowy. I think we should see McKillops here. I actually drove up here, but I think on the top I couldn't see over it, and it didn't look like you could actually park there. So I reversed back down here, but we shall see now, because you see on top the trees right away go down. I didn't want to go over the ledge on the other end, yeah, which looks like was a good call. Okay. Oh yeah. Not sure how much view we have. Though it could accommodate 2 or 3 vehicles for overnight stays, no ideal campsite presented itself. After pausing for tea while soaking in the majestic panorama, we returned to McKillops Road, heading toward a lookout I'd driven past numerous times but never actually visited.
Yeah, we just took a little detour into the Little River lookout. We didn't stop there yesterday because it was already a bit late. Want to get to camp, so have a look. Can't remember whether I've been here or not.
I should really put a bit of air shoes on, shouldn't I, Steffi?
You have again your safety boots on?
Yes, I do, yes.
Good. Well prepared.
Yeah. These are this.
Little River Gorge. Beautiful. Yeah, we're now on plan B, which I didn't really have plan B, but anyway, it doesn't matter. We're heading now west into the high country towards Limestone Creek, Native Dogs Flat. And yeah, we'll see what we find. Hopefully something with the creek, because again we have well over 30 degrees already, so it is pretty warm. Interesting, I just saw a hut on here which is called the NOB Hunt Hut. No private property sign, no nothing, so I assume it is accessible. Yeah, looks like we have to walk. Yeah, but I can't see a drive there, so we may have to have a quick walk and probably have brekkie here. Yeah, have a look here. That certainly is a new hut. I haven't been here. Oh, there's another track in. Yeah, ready to move in. The bunks. Fireplace. And another seasonal road closure. Seasonal is fine, but this is long over and not been opened again. That is Rams. It's a trek out to Ram's Horn. So, guys, just here at Cobra's trek. And the next closure, the previous trek to Ram's Horn closure. There's another closure here. Okay, see people get past, which I can't really blame them for. That is now for quite some time. No surprise that people create alternative entries if stuff doesn't get reopened. And the problem is, if you keep tracks like these closed, everything will regrowth on the tracks and so on, and then you don't have to just fix the section where you had issues, but have to fix everything. Bad. Yeah, we just drove past the entrance to Deddick's track, and that is closed, locked up, and again, pity. This one supposedly needs to be assessed for public safety. I'm more than able to take care of my own safety, so not much point really coming here anymore. Sure, there are other tracks here, but that were really some of the iconic tracks why you would come into this area, or at least I did and my friends did, the guys I drive with did. Native dog campground. It is certainly nice maintained. Here's our swimming hole. The horses. Brumbies here, trying to get water. Oh, there are fish in here. We abandoned our sitting attempt here because I spotted this worm here. Look at this. What is it? It is damn long. It crawled towards Kerry, and size-wise, it certainly would get into many places where
You wouldn't want them to.
you wouldn't want them to. Put in the water, see what it does then. Okay, maybe not. Maybe not drinking that water. Yeah, see, he's looking for something, Kerry.
Chop mine, know what it is? I can imagine his explanation.
Yeah, guys, I'm here in the beautiful Victorian High Country. We are at Native Dog Campground, and I wanted to compare the McKillops chair versus the Helinox chair. If you follow me, you know the Helinox I carry for years now. Always in my car, never leaves. One of my subscribers told me about the McKillops gear. So, first time I'm using it on this trip. Packing wise, it is not as easy. I mean, it is easy, but not as easy as the Helinox to pack in. I haven't used the Helinox on this trip, only the McKillops, and it feels more comfortable. But it could well be because I didn't try anything else. So I want to do side-by-side comparison. I quickly set up the Helinox and then I play musical chairs. Yeah, Helinox is definitely quicker setup, but the McKillops has one or two neat features which I show you in a second. This is the Helinox Savannah chair. So let's have a look. I'm sitting in the Helinox. I should say I have the McKillops set up that the rear is a bit lower than the front. Maybe I should do it 1-to-1. So I can adjust the legs here on the McKillops, which is nice because that means I can set it up a bit more like a lounge chair. With the Helinox I sit more upright. It's probably better a bit for working, but not for relaxing. The seat base is extremely short and it is comfortable. I mean, I'm using it for years, but not for prolonged seating times. I have kind of, in the Helinox here as well, kind of an armrest, but it's not as substantial as here. So here, now I have it straight. So the McKillops feels better if the rear is a bit lower than the front and you have a bit of an incline. The armrest is a bit bigger, it's a bit more comfortable. Seat base, I don't think there is much difference. I'm going to get the tape measure out and we measure it. What I do like here is so I have a mobile phone pocket or whatever pocket at the front. Both have a pocket for a stubby, same as here, but the McKillops has another pocket here which fits a Kindle and so on, so that is pretty neat.
And then you can also attach the carrying bag to your seat.
And that gives you, again, more stuff I could put in here. I mean, not that I really missed it, but you could put, for example, another 2 stubbies or cans in or whatever. So let's get a tape measure.
That is really my only complaint on these chairs, that for tall people like me, the seat base is just not long enough. Another 2 or 3 centimeters would make a huge difference.
Well, look, it feels like the Helinox has a deeper seat base, which is interesting, because this is slightly more comfortable. And where this one shines, how I find it, so I usually put the rear back here. So you have 3 settings. I put the rear on the on the first setting, and that gives you a bit of a inclined chair. Yeah, and that is way more comfortable sitting around the fire than this one. And you can't do that with the Helinox. So from that point, I would say comfort goes to the kilos. Pockets, side pockets, goes to the kilos. Stubby holder equal. The armrest goes to the kilos because it is a little bit wider. Yeah, simplicity in packing goes to the Helinox because it's definitely quicker to pack in and also to set up.
After 5 years of loyal service, my Helinox chair has been temporarily relegated to storage in favor of the Kilos model. The primary factor, well, simply comfort. While the Helinox proved its durability over half a decade of rugged use, I'll now be subjecting the Kilos to the same rigorous field testing across various terrains and conditions. Long-term performance, not initial impressions, is what truly matters in camp equipment selection. So stay tuned and I will keep you posted. Yeah, we shall see. Have a look behind me. It's pretty dark here. All nice and bright. We have a bit of wind coming up, and down here it's coming in fairly dark. Wind has picked up, so we shall see. We dodged a bullet with the rain, so I got the induction cooker out and got ready to cook some dinner.
Brilliant bags, love them.
So guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please keep in mind this is a self-funded channel, so I would greatly appreciate if you could help me out by sharing, liking and subscribing. And if you can, please consider head over to Patreon or buy me a coffee, and with the equivalent of a cup of coffee or two per month, you can really help me making these videos. Thanks a lot for watching and see you along the tracks.